Oh, fuck. Ah. Hold on. Sound settings. Corsair. I got distracted reading shit. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm laughing at my stupid thumbnails that I keep adding for shit. Fucking hashtag. What am I? Let me get some music. Let me get some. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Let me get the rig up. Which one do I want to use?
All I am is a man. I want the world in my hands. I hate the beach, but I stand.
No. Can I cancel? No, shit. Do. Hang on, I got it. Ooh. The minute that my left hand meets your waist, and then I watch your face, put my finger on your tongue 'cause you love the taste, yeah. These hearts adore everyone the other beats hard is for. Inside this place is warm, outside is coming down. One love, two mouths, one love, one house. No shirt, no blouse, just us. You find out nothing that we wanna tell you about. No, 'cause it's too cold. Is it? Oh, there we go. I don't like that. Closes my eyes. No, stop it. Let me see if I can. Let me move it. Let me move it. Turn this stupid ring off. No, I want to. Come on. No, it's just way too bright. There we go. No, that's too. That's too. Yeah, I think this will work. This is fine. Ugh. Oh.
center. Fit to screen. Yeah, that's good enough. I gotta open my. I gotta open. Excuse me. It's Amel. Hey, hello. Hi, welcome. Sorry, I was going through technical difficulties. Did I post the tweet? I don't know if I posted the tweet. Let me check. I might have. No, I didn't. Hang on, I'm almost. Wait, well. Oh, you can't do. Yeah, there we go. There we go. There, tweeted it out. Yeah. The biggest issue here though is that maybe I should just turn off the blinking. Cuz link sensitivity, link eyes blink while looking down, auto blink. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Just auto blink. It's fine. Oh. It's you. It's you. It's DDP. Where's self promo? Self promo. There. Oh, what's Booster doing? Watching The Omen. What's Yeah, no, I'm just trying to what am I trying to do? Yeah, I'm just trying to fuck around with 3D models. And let me get some music on. Pizza Hotline. Delivery Boy 2099. Yeah, there we go. I feel like I'm off center. Probably just the angle. Frey, hello. Hello, Frey. Ugh. I wish the eye tracking worked, but it doesn't. Here's what happens when Look, I'm gonna do my impression of the Undertaker. Here we go. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Hang on. Let me. You know what? I gotta do this right. Here we go. Watch this. Watch this. Here we go. Get ready. Get ready. Do we got it? No. Oh, no fake it. Did they fix it? Oh, there we go. Look at it go. Look at it go. Yeah. I'm the Undertaker. Okay. So back to the fake case. Pizza delivery. Whew. Okay, so there's one. Oh, look at me down there. I did say I'm gonna I've got a bunch of tutorials that we're gonna try and watch. And then I'm gonna try it and tutorial Blender modeling for absolute beginners. Okay. Are you, are you ready? Let's open Blender. And the problem is I'm stepping in to something I did not do for years. Last time I did this was in 3D Studio Max, and that was so long ago. That was like 2008? No, maybe 2009. Oh wait, no, I don't want to use this one. I want to use this one. Yeah, I want to use this one. Yeah, that works. Where's the video? I have too many things up. How to make 3D model. Making a low poly model Blender
today.
Oh, you want
Stuff.
because before I do anything,
you might have dabbled in it a little bit. In this tutorial, what I'm going to be doing is trying to take one video.
Well, I'm going to do my favorite game, God of War 2018. Well, no, see, it's funny that you mentioned God of War 2018 because the game that I'm going to play tomorrow has a sequel that goes about the same direction as God of War 8, and by that I mean they discard the elements of the game that made it unique and stand out in favor of doing something that everyone else was doing. Only in this case, the main difference was they chose to go the survival horror formula, which was actually made the controls more difficult instead of less difficult. And then, man, don't even get me started on the third game. Let me find What window capture is this? Delete this. Delete this one. We will not delete this one. That doesn't really narrow it down. There's only one game I can think of that went from like unique, like when I say unique, I mean I don't think there's like any other game that's come close to this combat except for maybe Vagrant Story, and even then that's like not quite. It went from like unique active time turn-based combat to regular survival horror. There's like one game. And like God of War did the same thing. I mean, like, yeah, God of War is kind of heavily inspired by Devil May Cry, but it's Parasite Eve. Don't tell anybody. Why? No, open your eyes, stupid. I'm gonna have to fix this again. Whatever, this is fine. I can just lower it a little. It was kind of unique at the time. I do want to hear something very funny. I can fix this. There we go. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I haven't played Third Birthday. I've heard stuff. I did play a little of Parasite Eve 2, and I don't like it. Man, it's such a downgrade. The combat is such a downgrade compared to. Oh no! Oh well, I mean, I'm sure it was nice to have, because like who would have thought that we would get like another game with Aya, and then you play through the game and you go, oh, that's not Aya. And you go, man, what a downgrade. Now, God of War was unique enough that, like, even though it was inspired by Devil May Cry, when knockoff games came out, they weren't knocking off Devil May Cry. They were knocking off God of War. Dante's Inferno is a God of War knockoff, not a Devil May Cry knockoff. Ghost Rider is a God of War knockoff, not a Devil May Cry knockoff. Let me pull up the. Yeah, there we go. Why isn't it showing up, though?
God of War, my favorite franchise. In fact, recently in the sparse free time I've had, I've gone back and replayed the original trilogy just to reassert the fact that I love the series, and guess what? I still do. And I'm apparently not the only one, because in the late 2000s and early 2010s, God of War imitators were sprouting up like weeds in an abandoned game of Animal Crossing. Makes sense. It was a proven success, so why wouldn't every developer in the world follow suit? And since there are so many God of
Yeah, and fucking Castlevania Lords of Shadow is also a God of War knockoff. But then, but I'm willing to forgive Lords of Shadow, because without Lords of Shadow, we never would have gotten Metroid Dread, and that alone makes me, like, because of Metroid Dread, I actually went back, and I'm going to go back to this game and give it a second chance, because clearly I didn't appreciate it enough because holy shit, Metroid Dread was so good. Sonic Unleashed. Oh yeah, Sonic Unleashed. That's right. Sonic Unleashed was a God of War knockoff. Man, I can't believe that Yuji Naka. No, the reason I don't like God of War 2018 is the same reason I don't like Parasite Eve 2. Because they took, like, in an effort to streamline, and you can't see me using air quotes, in an effort to streamline and make the game more accessible, they cut all the stuff that made God of War unique and turned it into another, like, fucking PlayStation AAA title. You know? And I hate that. Yes, Yuji Naka did get busted for insider trading. That's so fucking funny to me that, like, it's unheard of because I'm so used to hearing about politicians doing insider trading, but it's legal for them to do insider trading. But then, like, over in Japan, they don't play with that shit.
I could possibly hate.
But yeah, no, I actually can't believe that if Yuji Naka had been allowed to make a Rystar game, because, like, the whole thing with the werehog having stretchy limbs, the stretchy limbs, but the things that made it unique were no longer unique by the time 2018 came out. Yeah, but now it's even less unique. Like, Devil May Cry wasn't unique when Devil May Cry 5 came out, but it's like it's the originator. Balan Wonder Trade. No, the whole thing with the stretchy limbs was that originally, like, when they were coming up with ideas for Sonic, one of the things was like, oh, let's give the character stretchy limbs. And then, you know, they're like, no, let's just invent blast processing. And they invented blast processing, and Sonic could move real fast. But then Yuji Naka went back to the stretchy limb thing and created Rystar. But then years later, Sonic Unleashed, he's like, oh, let's give Sonic stretchy limbs like I wanted to give him stretchy limbs. And then there's Darksiders. Darksiders isn't God of War. Darksiders is more Legend of Zelda than God of War, I think. I think it.
Death you should fear.
Oh, hey. No, Dante's Inferno is what the mystery game?
Then there's Wayne Brady as Sparks, who is just awful.
No big deal, risking our lives, saving people.
Oh my god, Wayne Brady was Sparks? David Spade was Sparks once. Darksiders is more Zelda than God of War, though. Darksiders 2 is a little less Zelda. Is Sonic Frontiers a Revengeance knockoff? There's nothing wrong with being a Revengeance knockoff. Even if it is. I'm not sure if you could call it a Revengeance knockoff, because it still plays like a Sonic game, right? I haven't played it yet. God of War knockoffs. God of War rip-offs PS2. Oh yeah, that's super. Yeah, see, God of War ripped it. Oh right, and even then, oh my god, I forgot. Yeah, I don't remember who argued it. Even God of War wasn't even God of War wasn't the original. Rygar, the Rygar updated thing.
The offspring of their forefathers, and
Already, so I'm going to be up there.
the game was obnoxious at first until I started unlocking some new attacks and learning to.
Yeah, there's this game called Rygar. Rygar is a game. Rygar. Yeah, Rygar was a game on the NES. It was also on the arcade. for the Monster Rancher character. But yeah, no, it was a side scroller game where he had like a fucking awesome chainsaw yo-yo. But then they made a sequel on the PS2, and it actually predates. I think it does. It predates God of War. Came out in 2002. God of War 1 came out 2005. So yeah, Rygar was actually the originator. But Rygar was actually trying to be was trying to be a DMC knockoff. I'm pretty sure Rygar was very much DMC. Remember when I do remember when Nightmare Before Christmas got it.
Utilize the slide a bit more, and at that point, the combat started to click a bit more, and the game became much more fun.
I should play that. I should play Rygar. That's what I should do instead of playing fucking God of War 2018. I'll play Rygar. Now, where's the video? Where's the Blender modeling for absolute beginners? Is the video I'm looking for. Here we go.
Mental things, the things you really need to get started, and I'm going to show you how to do it in a free.
Don't mind all the tabs. These are all 3D modeling tutorials. Because I was like, how do I do this? How do I do this? And then there's this guy, there's this Mako Ray guy. He's a Catboy twink. And then this is where this is the video that made me go, oh, this is because look at this guy. Look at this guy.
In Blender. In this video, I will show you my
it's possible. The thing that I want to do is possible. It's very possible. Now that Bayo and DMC are back, I don't mind God of War changing direction. I do. I don't like God of War selling out. That's what it does, in my opinion. I suppose that is the main difference. That unlike Parasite Eve 2, where the controls took a turn for the worse because they went back to tank controls, which is fine. Tank controls are fine for tank control games, but Parasite Eve was not really a tank control game. And making it play more like Resident Evil instead of keeping its actually unique combat was a bad move. But yes, God of War 2018 is at least a passable game. But I don't like it. It's the principle. All right. But look at this guy's rig. This is kind of what I want to go for.
Game arts and retro stuff.
Like this is how we do.
This will help give you sharp edges in the final render, so they're not all aliased and smooth.
Oh, don't mind these. This is where you can watch all the Kamen Riders. All right. And like the hardest part for me is going to be figuring out the controls to Blender, because apply to fucking Hollow Stars, you can't. No, I want to. No. Listen. I don't want that, man. I don't want that. No, I can't. Listen. There's only if this ever blows up. Aqua said to apply to Hollow Stars. Yeah, so no, I'm not applying to Hollow Stars. Fuck that. Parasite Eve is still just hipster. No, you take that back. Kodelka. What's Kodelka? Let me see what Kodelka is. Kodelka. Yes, I am. I've heard of it. I haven't played it. Parasite Eve is not hipster Resident Evil. Parasite Eve was one of the many great games that Square Enix got the freedom to make once they got fuck you money from Final Fantasy VII. It was in between getting fuck you money and then losing all the fuck you money by making a fucking awful Final Fantasy movie and releasing it in theaters, and then The Bouncer. And then getting it, and then you cannot submit your own character to VTube agencies. This isn't even my own character. This is something I made in VRoid. I'm gonna submit. Well, no, I'm not gonna submit. I'm gonna make a little low poly thing so I can play fun PlayStation games with it. Kudelka's a. Let me see the combat in Kudelka. Maybe I'm gonna have to look at Kudelka too. All right, let's see this. Let's see this combat. Oh, okay. What's with this music? What's... What? Why is this music so, like, not... I feel like it doesn't fit the tone of the game. That's actually funny that he does the cross. He just punched the ghost out? Is he dead? Dude, that's the combat. Like, it's interesting, but I'm not used to like regular battles being that long in a turn-based game. Like how Magic Defense is a double-edged sword. That is pretty. Oh, that's actually really neat. That's a pretty neat idea. You should watch Mahler's Multiverse of Madness video and try to debunk it. What? This one? I gotta do some. Hang on. Let me. I can't let my ADHD distract me from what I'm trying to do.
free software called Blender that you can very easily download without an account or a password or anything like that. So you can see here, this is the final result. I'm going to show you first of all, the software itself, just the very basics, not covering all the thousands of different things. And then I'm going to take you step by step after that through the making of this character here and how to render it out as a final result. And you can use this same low poly modeling technique here, which is really simple and beginner friendly, to make all sorts of things. So hopefully this video grabs your interest if you want to learn as an absolute beginner. If you already know something about Blender,
I do want to learn.
Maybe this is just a little bit too basic and repetitive, but this is definitely more for absolute beginners, people who really don't know anything and they just want a simple video that's going to make
I know
sense.
absolutely
And
nothing about
also,
Blender.
After an hour or so, walk away with something that you can feel really good about, a final result. And from there, you can choose if you want to go on and learn more about the discipline of 3D modeling. Maybe
The discipline.
later on. So
The vocation of 3D modeling. All right, let's see this. How dude, it's 5 hours. Why? Why? It doesn't need to be 5 hours. Why?
It absolutely obliterates.
Why is it 5 hours?
Both its own characters and its legacy character. The world building is comparable to a goblin's mudslide. Thematically, it's as embarrassing as it is broken, and the plot has been reduced to atoms in terms of
it doesn't need to be 5 hours.
In short, yes, it's worse than Captain Marvel, and the MCU is going down a profane, sludge-ridden, dingy curse hole with no one making it out, keeping the masses sated until the next appointment with the rancid milkshake of miserable melancholic mud circling the drain, just wishing it could once again.
You don't have to do this.
Mediocrity. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
You don't have to do this. It doesn't need to be 6 hours.
Universe.
Why? Christine's wedding and stopping.
Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Like,
who are these people?
This is one of those things where Mauler would need to do an.
I don't know any of these people.
Take 2 hours to break down all the crap in this.
2 hours? Do you think me weak, sword man? Let's just get right into it.
This isn't necessary. And it wasn't even that bad.
We begin with an
Although I'm biased because I like Sam Raimi. But, like, seriously, it's... And, like, I understand people's, reluctance. What is this video? Oh, hi, Jess. This is Mahler's 5-hour video, I guess, debunking Doctor Strange. I'm not going to refute 6 hours.
Defender Strange is running from this big old cursed spaghetti boy with his friend here, America Chavez. America. Presumably consider.
No, like, so the thing about America Chavez is that she was a decent character written by, like, who wrote her? America Chavez comic. Yeah, I'm telling. Gabby Rivera did not create America Chavez. That's a misconception. Joe Casey and Nick Dragotta created America Chavez. And then Marvel wouldn't give him the rights to the character. So I feel like this is closer. Regardless, this is not 2017 America Chavez. I mean, that thing is so poorly received that they retconned it. There's not enough content for a 6-hour movie, I guess. No, America Chavez 2017 is shit, 100%. I'm trying to find. America Vasquez is the other one. Yeah. So Joe Casey and Nick Dragotta, like, I guess they don't get to do what they want with America Chavez. They give America Chavez to like an overrated lesbian writer that doesn't know how to write comics and is probably an overrated hack writer anyways. And you know, she stinks. Even though Jesse Shadeen from IGN gave it an 8.5 out of 10, he's lying. He's lying, all right? Anyone who enjoys Unbeatable, Squirrel Girl, or Hawkeye will feel right at home here. Oh, that explains it. Both of those were shit, too. Or as my friend calls her, the unfuckable Squirrel Girl. My favorite Squirrel Girl meme is... Oh, shit, no. Turn that off. My favorite Squirrel Girl meme is, like, I don't know. I saw it on 4chan. It's a picture of Squirrel Girl trying, like, it's what's her name? What's Squirrel Girl's name? Doreen. Yeah, it's Doreen, and she's dressed up in like a sexy dress, and like the comic panel is her like posing sexy and taking like a selfie or a picture in the mirror, and then she looks at the maybe I have a picture of it somewhere. Let me see if I got a picture of it. I'm almost positive I've got the Squirrel Girl. Oh yeah, I got it. I have it right here. Yeah, let me pull this up real quick. This actually makes me like in my weird headcanon. No, Squirrel Girl. Oh. Here we go. Here, yeah, look at it. I don't know who made this. I saw it on Co once. But see, the it's not that somebody decided. The joke is that the art direction isn't so much a stylistic choice. It's that Squirrel Girl is just not photogenic. So even if she tries to look sexy, all of her pictures turn out like that. Which I thought it was cute. And it's like, oh, this is miserable for me. It's misery. But yeah, no, they didn't. So Joe, Casey, and whatever, they didn't get to make who they wanted with them. They didn't want to tell. They didn't get to tell the stories that they wanted with America. So they went to who did they go to? Oh, Image Comics, and they're like, well, we can still call her America. We'll just have to give her a new Spanish last name. So they went with America Vasquez instead of America Chavez. Marvel rejected the proposal from Casey. Casey developed a new character in Image Comics. Her story includes many similar characters from Marvel, including a crew of analogs characters as Colonel Free Wraith and a female Thor. So yeah, they America Chavez is not the problem. Now, Ms. Marvel, on the other hand, there's no salvaging her, because in my opinion, and I always thought Ms. Marvel was kind of boring even before they were trying to overhype her. This is like back when she was called Ms. Marvel, before they started calling her Captain Marvel. I thought she was boring. So you're not really doing anything with her. She's dead. She's dead in the water. What's
During the title, we are viewing an alternate pathway in the multiverse.
protecting America,
Wong
contacting
didn't feel the
Wanda.
need to tell Benny Boy Bumba Chums about this incredible tool, and when 14 million futures were looked into, none of them had any information on it or usage of it. He didn't see a single potential outcome that involved the book that insta-gibbs Thanos. Okay, whatever you say. America is then asked for proof of her claims, and so she presents Defender Strange's body.
That's funny.
Into the lives of our multiversal selves.
Oh, that's stupid. But Wanda versus the Illuminati? Oh, yeah, this part was funny.
Past the 2 hours and we're only at Reed getting shredded. Your restrictions of the long are offensive, but there's no sense in giving up now. Let's go to work. Reed is slowly converted into spaghetti from the ends of his limbs up through to the torso until it almost reaches his head and Wanda chooses to detonate his skull.
That's pretty funny.
It's pretty grim when you think about it. Of course, the cartoon spaghetti makes it sit in a calmer age range, but yeah, that's his fate. I think it's about time we bring in the idea of understanding Wanda's potential. If you guys remember...
Actually, no, the funniest part of Multiverse of Madness, Inhumans, why? See, this is the funny part. Dude. Alright. Yeah, hello. I am Medusa.
Hello. I'm Medusa. I know everyone's afraid of you, but
Oh, I saw that just. Yeah, it was really I think it's really cute. Oh, here we go, here we go. They're just watch. They just look. They're not even like it's just the stain on the wall. That dude, this scene.
Wanda.
This scene makes me laugh so fucking hard. Fucking that's what Black Belt deserves. Fuck Black Belt. I don't care. Listen. I understand Jack Kirby created Black Belt. And you know, but not all of Jack Kirby's comics are winners. Like the Eternals. And even then, the Eternals movie did a great disservice by not looking like a Jack Kirby comic. You know what? Oh fuck! I hate that I'm getting distracted. You guys are baiting me into getting distracted. You know what I do like? Silver Surfer animated. This shit. This show. I can't believe I missed out on this show. This show looks like a Jack Kirby comic.
Tragedy becomes triumph, and triumph turns tragic once more.
What of this planet, Master?
I gave a promise once to an honorable man. That planet is not for such as we.
Once, on a planet of wisdom known as Zenla, new being first.
The end.
There is no Zenla. We cannot give up. We will not.
I need to find some of the CGI.
Yet which have no intel.
You have accomplished.
What is that?
You have forced me to interrupt my repast. I do not know whether to congratulate you for this unique deed, or vaporize you.
Do what you will, my former master, but I cannot allow you to kill anymore.
Former master? Former.
For us, reality was already an end.
Oh, it's Beta Ray Bill.
People were so confused.
No, this show. This show's really good. Or at least this show looked really good. And like anytime they used CGI, it was because they were doing like a space station and they wanted it to look like a Jack Kirby comic, so they had all the complicated lines and shit. This is like the most Jack Kirby ass fucking TV show ever made. All right, back to modeling. I'm not watching that fucking 6-hour bog wash.
So let's get into the video, and I hope you enjoy. I will be adding some timestamps so it can make it easier for you guys, the different chapters, and you can bounce back and forth if you get stuck. Let's hop in. But getting your hands on Blender is quite simple. You go to your internet browser, you can type in blender.org, open up the site, and you're going to go to the tab here called Downloads. And what you can do is just click on this blue button here. That's going to download an installation file so you can install it on your computer. Another option, which I prefer to do, is to go to this little drop down here, and you're going to actually see the portable versions here. So it's for Windows and Mac. In my case, I have a Windows computer. I would click on the zip file here for the Windows portable, download that zip folder, then extract it like you do with any zip folder, and then just open that folder. Inside of there, there's going to be Blender. You click on it, you run the program. And when it runs for the first time, you can just right click and pin that program to your taskbar. And there you have it. So very, very simple. No signing in, no passwords, no accounts. And you can do that anytime there is a new release. You can even have multiple versions of Blender. So that is very self-explanatory, very easy. So I'm not going to go any more into that. Let's get into the next thing where we actually open it up, and I'll show you how to use
Somebody
it.
I talked to is watching Pat Labor.
Blender, you may even be doing it for the very first time. And if you do, it may even seem a little bit intimidating, but rest assured, all of these different tabs,
it is very intimidating.
Features that you see, most
very
of them you will not need to know a thing about just getting started. You'll learn that with time. Now this thing you see here, the box when you first open up Blender, what most people do is they just left click somewhere in the viewport and that box.
That's true, I did do that.
Now getting on to the user interface itself, what you're going to see here is the one that just stands out, and this is, like I said, the 3D viewport. This is where everything happens. This is where we see our objects, where we add things in, where we can set up our layout. Now I'm not going to be covering navigation just yet. I promise I'll get into that in a bit, but for now I'm just explaining what these different windows are, or these different boxes.
I know what
Going on to this little box that sits up here, that is our scene outliner. And essentially what we see here is the different items and objects that are in our scene. It really is a great organizational tool, and if
the tick was very ahead of its time.
Makes things easier as well. Getting organized, especially when your projects get a little bit bigger, is one of the most important things you can learn as a beginner. And what you can see here is these collections. Now, collections are essentially just these things you can create where you can group different objects in your 3D scene together. You can put them in that group. Look at it almost like layers in Photoshop. I'm not saying they are layers. You can almost look at it like that in a sense, if that helps you visualize it. You can add in different collections, and you can also name the different objects. You can even directly come here and click on these objects instead of actually coming into your scene and left clicking on an object.
All right.
The outliner is just another way you can visualize what's in your scene and select things. You can even go to the drop down and see more information about certain objects or what relationship they have to different objects. Now don't worry if that doesn't make any sense to you. You don't need to know that right now. If it doesn't make sense, I will explain it later on in the tutorial if it's relevant to what we're doing. But that is our scene outliner essentially. And now we have that out of the way, we can come down here to our properties. Now this is where different things that you do in Blender, you can see their properties. For example, let me just click on an object. Say for example, you just left click on the cube to select it.
I did.
Then you can go over here to all of the different properties. So if you click on this little tab, which is the materials property, the properties of the material that this thing has are here. So we can change values, we can change different sets of information that relate to the materials on this cube. Now we have, for example, over here, one called the object properties. So over here we can see the different transforms for these objects. Now transforms essentially, I'll get into that in a little bit, but it is the things that we can use to move an object in 3D space. So we have an X, Y, and a Z coordinate. You can't really see now because we're not rendering. So these three windows here are just the three main windows you need to know for now. Another feature, emulate number pad, is enabled if you don't have a number pad. So for me, I have keyboard. That's the case. There's something you can do about that where you can make these numbers up here emulate a number pad. So let's just quickly go over into edit. Once we have Blender open, preferences, and then you're going to go over here to the input, go up to keyboard and make sure emulate number pad is enabled.
I don't
if
need
you
to do
don't have a
that.
number pad. So for me,
I
I
no,
have a
tell me.
number pad as view. Go to viewport and then go to, for example, the front view, or go over here and go
Wait.
to the right view and then go to pad. You could actually
Oh,
go
view.
over
Oh my
here
god,
to
there's two
view,
fucking
go to
oof.
viewport and then go to, for example, the front view, or go over here and go to the right view. But it's just good to use the number pad.
Okay, so
if you
that's
use 1 on your number pad, you can go into the front orthographic view.
Okay.
Front orthographic. If you press 3 on your number pad, you can go into the right orthographic view. You see it says right over here. 7 goes to the top. And if you want to, for example, go to the bottom, you can just hold in Control or Command 7.
All right, well, that's good. That's good to know. That's great to know. Even
1. If you press 1 on your number pad, it goes to the front view. What if you want to look from the back? So to make it the opposite of, you just hold in Control and then press 1, and now you're at the back view. So very, very easy. You can note that down, write it down. It's super simple. So just experiment with the numbers on your numpad, and that'll take you into different views. Primarily, you're going to be working in 1 or the front orthographic view, so you'll almost always be using 1 or sometimes even 3
good to know.
It's
good.
View. So not really that much you have to learn as far as changing the views. That's about the main thing we have to cover for now. But as far as actually moving around with the mouse, if you hold in the middle mouse button on your mouse and you hold it in and you move the mouse, you can actually rotate around like this. And that's pretty simple. So just middle mouse button holding it in. And if you want it to go side to side, like pan, all you have to do is hold in Shift, then the middle mouse button, and hold that in and just move side to side. And then if you want to zoom in and out, you can literally just roll the middle mouse button. There's also the option of holding in Control and then the middle mouse button, holding it in and then moving the mouse. But it really is just simpler and more intuitive just to roll the middle mouse button. So Blender's navigations are actually really easy. So just a quick recap, middle mouse button by itself, you can rotate, Shift, middle mouse button, you can move side to side, and just rolling the middle mouse button, you can zoom in and out. Extremely simple. There's a lot more you could probably say, but those are some of the fundamental things as far as navigation goes. And this isn't really navigation, but what if you actually want to move an object? Well, all you have to do is left click on an object.
I already know how to do that.
You can just come over here to these things here. They're called the tool panels, but you have this one here called the move.
Yeah, I know about that.
Click on it, and then you can just click on any one of these handles.
3ds Max had that. So I'm already well familiar with that. What they said you got boomers and holostars men of culture. Let me check real quick, because I don't know if you guys are familiar. Oh, Kung Fu Man. Oh, it's all dirt on Kung Fu Man. Oh, movie Bob shit. Man, Kung Fu Man really bounced back from this. Yeah, Yokai Live is the VTuber group that I'm talking about. Yeah, no. So Kung Fu Man is you guys, all two of us. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Hey man, I gotta start somewhere. Batman Who Laughs. Right, back to the video.
So the red one is the x-axis, the y is, the green here is the y, and the blue is the z. If you press N on your keyboard, you can go over here to the control panel, go to item, and you can actually see here, these are our transforms. So the z here, for example, is the blue, so you can actually come here to the z under the location and move it that way or this way. It's just really the same thing, just a different way of doing it. And if you just press G, G is the shortcut key for moving things. So just pressing G, you can actually move things. And also you can go G and then press Z to...
No, I think Batman. I think Batman Who Laughs was cool, but then I think he's making the end tower. I think the Batman Who Laughs was cool, but then I think DC really overexposed him. As DC tends to do nowadays. They latch on to something good and then run it into the ground. Or latch on to something bad and then make it worse. Like when Dan DiDio ruined Wally West after bringing him back. Because I don't know. He hates Wally. He hates Dick Grayson.
Restricted to the Z-axis, X to the X, or Y to the Y. So all the same thing.
Yeah, the XXX and the YYY.
If you don't really understand what I just did, don't worry. We'll be recapping it as we get into the modeling tutorial. So it's just something you need to be aware of. And then you have this one here called rotate and scale. And it's the exact same thing. Obviously with rotation, you still have these axes here. But now instead of moving, you're just rotating. So you can left click on one, or maybe left click on this red one, so you can rotate around the X, and the exact same thing. Over here in the properties, you can just come to the rotation and do the same thing manually here on these different vectors. And scale, I mean, need I explain?
You made a full end tower last time you were here. Don't give me that shit.
The exact same principle. This time you're just dealing with scale. And you can also just click here on the tool. And by the way, the shortcuts here are S for scale and also R for rotate. So very, very easy navigation and also moving an object around. So I think we really have covered enough now just to get you to understand the basics. We'll now jump into the tutorial, and if there's anything you haven't understood, we'll just cover it slowly. I'll go over it again if need be, but you should be able to get it now that you're up to speed on Blender. So before we get into Blender and we do a little bit of
Oh, is the Batman Who Laughs still good, or? Because I thought it was like getting to the point where they stuck him in everything.
modeling, you're probably going to need a model sheet, and that's just something to give you a little bit of reference. So you can actually see here on the screen that's now recording, here is a picture of a screenshot that I actually took of a model that I've already modeled to practice. So what you can do is you can just use the print screen key on your keyboard, or just use the snip tool.
Oh, are you serious? Ugh. Let's find. You know what? I got a better idea. Let's find. Let's find a reference sheet. I probably have something in here. Drawing references. There. I probably have something in here that we can use to model. Let me take a look. There's some Kamen Rider. But I think Kamen Rider might be. Let's see. Unless we go with Ishinomori's manga stuff. Or Vegeta, maybe. Or Batman, maybe. I might just play it safe and use use what was given to me. That's print screen. Go with that.
Tool that comes with Windows. Just about every operating system has some sort of built-in tool to allow you to do screenshots or snips. So just go ahead, and you can also crop it if you want, just so you have the picture.
Why is my what the fuck?
You know, you should just have, like in this case, I just named.
I need to hold on a second. I just glanced at my fucking model. I'm like doing like the O face. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, I think I know why it's doing that. Maybe. Let's see. Settings, expression settings. Oh, I see what happened. There we go. Yeah. I hit the 3. Oh, yeah, no. The mouth is acting up. Oh, it's fine. This doesn't need to be professional yet.
Somewhere on my computer. What you're going to do is you're going to open up Blender. So in this case, I am using Blender 3.2. So I'm using Blender 3.2. And it's now opened up. Now the thing that's going to be different here for me, I'm just going to enable something that's an add-on. You don't have to do this. That just enables you guys to see over here the keys that I'm pressing. So that just should help you out a little bit. But you can see here we have the default scene, as we've already kind of covered in the previous part. But what you can do is you can press 1 on your front orthographic to go into your front orthographic view. So the number pad 1. Right. You can also just go to view, viewport, and then go to front. And what you're going to do is you're going to get that image that you should have taken a screenshot of. So in this case, I have it somewhere on my computer.
Oh God!
So I just named it girl, and you're just going to click on it and just drag it into the front orthographic view. Make sure not to drag it onto the cube, but just drag it somewhere here in the empty space. And you're going to see it adds it in. So now you can make it full screen again, and you have this image here in your front orthographic view. Now you can press G while you have it active. And if you're not sure if you have it active, what you can do, come up here to your scene collection. You can see the different objects. And by default, it's going to be named empty over here. See that object called empty? So if it's not active, just click on it. And you should be able to go G and move it.
I think Forza was fine, but I watched it all the way through, like, nonstop. It might be a reoccurring thing. I think I liked Kamen Rider Double all the way through. But hold on, let me go grab a drink real quick and take a pee. Hang on. Let me hang on, let me set something up. Mania. All right. You should watch W. W's pretty good. Oh shit. Sorry, my camera keeps. Gotta find the off switch on my camera. Frustrating. There we go. Off switch on the camera. Let me pull this video up real quick.
I said, hello there, can I fill your hole? She took one look and she told me no. I got a wife at home and she hates me. I sleep outside cause she makes me. Big bowl of the cocaine, that's me breakfast. I tried crack once, I just wanted to test it and I'm hooked now. I could marry my pipe, my wife wouldn't care, she just wants me to die. It's party time, get your drugs out. If you wanna make love, get your muffs out. It's party time, get your drugs out. Do you wanna make love to a sad old man? It's party time, get your drugs out. If you wanna make love, get your muffs out. It's party time, get your drugs out. Do you wanna make love to a sad old man? I said a hip, a hop, a hip, and dip my dick in the salsa dip on a Taco Tuesday. Get a spaff on your booblades. Yes. Feel free to say no. Bald bean and full of beans. I got a Yamaha keyboard drum machine. Metallic a patch on my dungarees. I said, girl,
I'm here. Still got
it. Hang myself in the neighbor's garden. When he comes back, that's a nice surprise. Let the darkness just take your soul. Listen up, child. Close your eyes. Just pull it out. Don't cut me hair. Take my face. Stub a sink right there. I'm a dirty, wretched man. Call me granddad.
There we go.
Your nan. What's the worst? Fuck the universe till it hurts. I'm not used to these kinds of mental health issues. I just want to live in a church and find peace upon me brain. Jesus, please just stop me pain. I know you think that this is a game, but it's not. Now watch me walk away. I'm a love machine, I don't know when to stop. I got a mouse trap here that can make me cock. Pink and red with a mighty blues. In the club too, stepping with my black steel shoes. Lunch and meat in my boot cut jeans. Chucking on bread with a bit of numb cheese. Stay still, would you like your bike? Give the clap to your wife and a wave goodnight. It's party time, get your drugs out. If you wanna make love, get your drugs out. It's party time, get your drugs out. Do you wanna make love to a sad old man? It's party time, get your drugs out. If you wanna make love, get your muffs out. It's party time, get your drugs out. Do you wanna make love to a sad old man?
Okay. That was a wild ride. Back to the video. But first, hang on. There we go. Got it open. Ugh, excuse me. The
and you could just move it over here.
But yeah,
And then when you
the whole thing with Kung Fu Man, I'm sure some people have played Mugen before. There's a character named Kung Fu Man, and then there's a guy who made his handle Kung Fu Man 316, and he had a website called Random Select, where you could just download some Mugen characters, and then something happened in 2014 involving someone that I don't know if I really want to mention, because doing that will invoke her, or them as they're called now. And he kind of ended up in the limelight again. Kind of. Not really. And then some drama happened a few years ago, but he's managed to get out of that pretty unscathed. And I guess now he has a VTuber sort of thing going on. I'm pretty sure I'm in his Discord. It's like Junker something or other. Unless he deleted it. No, here it is. The Junk Master server. Yeah. All right, back to, oh shit. Back to 3D modeling. Oh, who's following me? That's who's.
In place, just left click.
Wait, no. Where did the? Yeah, there we go. There we go.
And what you can also do is while you have it active, you can go over here to your properties panel that we talked about earlier, and you can go over here to object data properties down here on this little image.
You know what, let me fix something because it's kind of here. There we go. It's gonna bother me if I don't.
And you can come to this option here called opacity and just click on it, and then just click here and drag that down a little bit so it's almost see-through like that. Okay, so just a little bit is.
Wait, opacity. Oh. Oh shit.
Fine. And what you can now do is you can just hold your middle mouse button in.
No. What
to move to the side like that. You can see here it's now in the 3D space. But what you can do is you can go G, Y, and move it back in your scene. So G and then Y to restrict it to the Y axis, just so it's not intersecting with the object we're going to be modeling. And if you go into your front orthographic view again by pressing 1 on your number pad, you can see here that we want this the front pose to be in the middle. So in this case, if it's not quite in the middle, all you can do is go G and then X to move it along the X, and just make sure it's in the middle as it could possibly be here.
Oh, interesting.
And also over here, in fact, let's just quickly go and enable up here this thing called X-ray, and now we can see through. We still have this empty active. We can now make sure we have the feet sitting on the ground, so you can see this red line, this empty active. We can now make sure, and now we can see about
oh shit,
and the vertex is the center of it. So just look at it almost like a collection up and making the rest about over here. And then when you have it roughly in place, just left click. And what you can also do is while you have it active, you can go over here to your properties panel that we talked about earlier, and you can go over here to object data properties down here on this little image, and you can come to this option here called opacity and just click on it, and then just click here and drag that down a little bit so it's almost see-through like that. Okay, so just a little bit is fine. And what you can now do is you can just hold your middle mouse button in and just move to the side like that. You can see here it's now in the 3D space. But what you can do is you can go G, Y, and move it back in your scene. So G and then Y to restrict it to the Y axis, just so it's not intersecting with the object we're going to be modeling. And if you go into...
Well, let me grab... Right, back to
your front orthographic view again by pressing 1 on your number pad. You can see here that we want this the front pose to be in the middle. So in this case, if it's not quite in the middle, all you can do is go G and then X to move it along the X, and just make sure it's in the middle as it could possibly be here. And also over here, in fact, let's just quickly go and enable up here this thing called X-ray, and now we can see through. We still have this empty active. We can now make sure we have the front pose to be in the middle. So in this case, if it's not quite in the middle, all you can do is go G and then X to move it along the X, and just make sure it's in the middle as it could possibly be here. And also over here, in fact, let's just quickly go and enable up here this thing called X-ray, and now we can see through. We still have this empty active. We can now make sure we have the feet sitting on the ground, so you can see this red line here. That kind of represents where the ground is. So we're going to go G, Z, and just move it down till that feet there are sitting along the X, and just make sure it's as in the middle as it could possibly be here. And also over here, in fact, let's just quickly go and enable up here this thing called X-ray. And now we can see through. We still have this empty active. We can now make sure we have the feet sitting on the ground. So you can see this red line here. That kind of represents where the ground is. So we're going to go G, Z, and just move it down till that feet there are sitting right kind of on that red line. So now we have this front post right in the middle there, and we can use that as a reference. And how do we get the side?
Shit.
So the side is simple. All we have to do now is go Shift D with
No,
this active.
no,
So
this
Shift
is wrong.
D, just right click to let go, and then type in RZ90 and hit enter. So RZ90.
Why did it resize like that?
And if you press N to open up your properties panel,
oh shit.
you go to item R. We have to do now there, and we can use that as a reference. And how do we get the side? So the side is simple. All we have to do now is go Shift D with this active. So Shift D, just right click to let go, and then type in RZ90 and hit enter. So
no, what the fuck?
RZ90.
Where's my
and if
undo?
you press N to open up your properties panel and you go to item, you should be able to see here that on the Z, it's a rotate N at the side. So the side is simple. All we have to do now is go Shift D with this active. So Shift D, just right click to let go, and then type in RZ90 and hit enter. So RZ90.
That's not
and
what.
if you press N to open up your properties panel and you go to
What am I?
item,
What the
you should be
fuck?
able to see here that on the Z on that red line. So now we have this front post right in the middle there, and we can use that as a reference. And how do we get the side? So the side is simple. All we have to do now is go Shift D with this active. So Shift D, just right click to let go, and then type in RZ90 and hit enter. So RZ90. And if you press N to open up your properties panel and you go to item, you should be able to see here that on the Z, it's a rotated 90. So if it's not, just type in 90. Now press 3 on your number pad to go into the right orthographic view. You can see up here, right orthographic view. And now you can go G, Y, and move it on the Y till the side image is lined up here and kind of in the middle of where this cube is over here. You can also look at this blue line.
All right,
here.
there we go, there we go, there we go.
Reference and kind of Y, or if it's not panel, you go to so R, Z, type in Shift D with this active. So Shift D, just right click to let go, and then type in RZ90 and hit enter. So RZ90. And if you press N to open up your properties panel, you go to so RZ90, Z90 and hit enter. So RZ90. And if you press N to open up your properties panel and you go to item, you should be able to see here that on the Z, it's a rotated 90. So if it's not, just type in 90. Now press 3 on your number pad to go into the right.
What the
if it's not, just pan and hit enter. So to let go, and then type in RZ90 and hit enter. So RZ90. And if you press N to open up your properties panel and you go to item, you should be able to see here that on the Z, it's a rotated 90. So if it's not, just type in 90. Now press 3 on your number pad to go into the right orthographic view. You can see up here, right orthographic view. And now you can go G, Y, and move it on the Y.
Oh, there we go.
The side.
Why did that take so? Why was that so fucking complicated? I don't understand why that was so hard. I guess worst case scenario, I could just get one of those stupid 3D modeling mice. But that's not really an investment that I'm ready for yet. Oh shit. No, hang on. All right. Okay. Oh God. Blender files. We'll go there, and then we'll make a new folder. 3D mod stuff. .3D modeling practice.
Image is lined up here and kind of in the middle of where this cube is over here. You can also look at this blue line here as a reference. That's just the Z coordinate that you see in the right orthographic view. And make sure that she is roughly in the middle here. So G, Y to move it, and make sure you restrict it to the Y when you do, because we don't want to be moving it down or up now, because those feet, as you can see here, are still on that floor there, which is really good. So also with this one now on the side, we want to go GX and just move it over to the side like this. So when we go into a right orthographic view and we model with this cube here, that image is not intersecting with the mesh here. So now we have our front reference, and if we go into a right orthographic view by hitting 3 on the number pad, we have our side reference. Now before
there we go. That's pretty good.
So we're going to go File, Save As. I'm going to choose my desktop and I'm just going to call it Girl, Low Poly, and I'm going to go Save As. And now it's saved. So when it comes to actually modeling something, we can use something called primitive objects. So you can see here, for example, we have one already in Blender called the default cube. So if you left click on it, you can see it becomes active. Also up here in the scene collection, you can see the cube. And you could make this into any shape once you start editing it. And it's just so you understand. I'm going to quickly delete this. You don't have to follow along, but just so you understand. So for example, you didn't have an object. What you can do is you can go Shift A. Shift A brings up this add menu, and you can just go to the meshes. Now the meshes are the actual things, the topology that we'll model in 3D, and you have a whole bunch of objects here. Now all of these are just a bunch of this cube. So when it comes to actually modeling something, we can use something called primitive objects. So you can see here, for example, we have one already in Blender called the default cube. So if you left click on it, you can see it becomes active. Also up here in the scene collection, you can see the cube. And you could make this into any shape once you start editing it. And it's just so you understand. I'm going to quickly delete this. You don't have to follow along, but just so you understand. So for example, you didn't have an object. What you can do is you can go Shift A. Shift A brings up this add menu, and you can just go to the meshes. Now the meshes are the actual things,
oh my God,
topology that
what's he talking about?
3D, and you have a whole bunch of objects here. Now all of these are just a bunch of points or vertices that make up an object in 3D space. So here is a cube. The one we already had, here's a circle, here's a UV sphere. So if I add in a UV sphere, you can
that's
see,
right, the King's Casino
thing, but just
match.
shaped like a UV sphere. So I'm just going to go ahead and add back in a cube.
Volcano Casinos. Are they live? I wonder how that's going. I heard they've fallen off pretty hard. Let's take a look. Let's have.
Pretty good too. Loreddit Silver member saying it would be terrible if he filmed himself taking the ashes to a dialysis center. So, you know, Harry in death could fulfill Sandra's wish that Ralph couldn't fulfill in life. That's pretty good. I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, Harry could do a lot. Harry could do a lot with Sandra's ashes. He could take Sandra's ashes on dates.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of ideas. The chat just keeps coming up with more ideas.
Oh shit, chat's on fire. Let's go. I can't behave.
How'd they get 1,001? How do these people get bigger whenever they're fucking up? It's so weird.
It's too much. That would be that would be what they would want me to do. I'd probably get in trouble with the law. I want to see him get in trouble with the law. I don't need to prejudice, you know, my case or do something.
Ralph's gonna press these charges. What the fuck are you gonna do?
You're in Mexico.
It's just amazing.
Like you're fucked, bud.
Remember all the times he said he's gonna get Mr. Vickers put in jail or Cog put in jail?
Okay.
I'm gonna call Interpol on you, Cog.
All right, that's boring. That's very unexciting. Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
And the reason it is actually in the center of the world here when it's added in is because of this little thing here called the 3D cursor. Now over here you can see above the move tool there's a 3D cursor. If you click on that, you can click anywhere and it moves that 3D cursor. That 3D cursor is where things get placed by default in your scene.
It's
also
interesting.
a point you can use to rotate around as a transform. Won't get into that at the moment. But if I now went Shift A after moving that cursor, and I added in maybe a sphere, it adds it in there. So it's important if that thing isn't in the center. First of all, just click back on the move tool if you've done that. If there's ever a situation where you need to get your cursor back to the center, you can go Shift S, and you can see cursor to world origin as an option here. You can actually set the cursor to all sorts of places, but to have it in the center of the world, go to world origin. It's important that you understand that as a beginner concept. Also, when an object is added in, all objects in Blender have what you call an origin point. So you can see this little orange yellow dot in the middle. If you come over here to this overlays and you go to the drop down, origins may not be ticked. So if it isn't, just make sure to click on it so you can see that origin point. And that is actually the point where things rotate around. So if you go R, where it rotates around it. If you go S, it scales from that point. And G, and all of those transforms look at that origin point. So
Let's see, interesting.
In 3D, I've already shown you guys previously how you can scale, move things around, rotate things. How do you actually edit a piece of geometry? To do that, you can
that's
come
the
up
question.
Here to object mode. And for now, don't worry about all of these options. Just focus on the edit mode. If you go into edit mode,
I don't have anything else.
You're going to now actually see.
No, time out. Time out. Why don't I have anything other than edit mode? Hold on. Object mode's the only thing I have. What the fuck?
You can come up here and this is to object mode. And for now, don't worry about all.
Why? Well, hold on. Oh, shit. What year is this? It's this year. Why don't I have edit mode? I want edit mode. Shit. Oh, hold on. No, oh. God. Edit mode.
All of these options, just focus on the
edit mode. Jesus Christ.
Mode with an object selected. You're going to now actually see, instead of seeing not only the whole object, but you actually
How do I go into edit mode? Wait. There we go. Oh, man. I figured it out.
You now see the vertices that make up these objects. In this case, you can see you can actually left click on an individual point. And just like you can move things in the object mode, you can also go G and R. At the moment, you can't really notice the rotation. You'd have to select more than 2 to see that. But exact same thing. And this is how you can actually edit the shapes. And you can see the origin point is still there in the middle, but if I were to actually just left click and drag to select all of this and then go G to move it off, if I now go back into object mode, you can see the origin point is still there where it is. So if I now go R to rotate, it's not going to look at the object, but actually the origin point. So it's important that you guys understand what the origin point is and how that all works.
Okay, so that makes I understand.
An object in object mode as being just a collection of verts that are connected to this group, and the vertex is the center of it. So just look at it almost like a collection of points in 3D space. So now that you understand that, let's actually model here. So we have, the X-ray toggled on. You can also toggle it off so you can see through. Completely up to you, but for now I'm going to press 1 to go into the front orthographic view. We have our image set up and we have our cube.
Wait, what did he say turn off?
The X-ray toggled on. You can also toggle it off so you can see through. Completely up to you, but for now I'm going to press 1 to go into the front orthographic view. We have our image set up and we have our cube, which we're going to be using. And let's go G and then Z to restrict it to the Z. And let's just move it roughly to where the body is here. In fact, I'm going to turn the X-ray on for now so I can see. And let's go 2 about here. So it's almost a width. And do where the body is here. So if I now go R to rotate, it's still there.
Oh, okay. All right. No, that's right. That's G Z. That's where the body is.
I'm going to turn the X-ray on for now so I can see. And let's go S, and let's scale this down to about here. So it's almost the width of the body, like that. And as long as your cube's just roughly in the middle, it can be down a little bit or up, doesn't really matter. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna press Tab to go into edit mode, or you can just come up here and go into edit mode that way. And inside of edit mode, you're gonna left click and just drag over these top vertices to have them selected like that. And then you're gonna go S, X, and scale them on the X axis. You can even see up here, that red is the X, and you can actually see the numbers written here on the different colors.
Oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Then you're gonna left click and drag and select the bottom ones, and you can go S, X, and scale them along the X. So now from the front it looks okay, but if we press free on a number pad, we can see on the right orthographic view that it's not quite matching up, so we can select these at the top by left clicking and dragging.
Yeah.
You can go S, Y, and flatten it on the Y. You can also just left click and drag and just select just the front ones or the back ones and go G and just move them like that. So we're currently in the right orthographic. And these ones here,
No. Bad.
place, but you can also move them if you wanted to. So now we have that roughly in place. What we can do now is we can extrude this bottom face. So one way to do that is just left click and drag to select all of the bottom verts.
No, hold on.
But like that. So we're currently in the right orthographic. And these ones here, they're more or less in the right place, but you can also move them if you wanted to. So now we have that roughly in place. What we can do now is we can extrude this bottom face. So one way to do that is just left click and drag to select all of the bottom verts. But I'll quickly mention you also have these options up here for different selections. You can also click on the face mode, and now instead of selecting verts, you can select a face, which is a collection of verts and edges. So now you can just left click on that face, and then you can go back into your right orthographic view by hitting free, and you can go E. So E is the shortcut to extrude. And that'll
okay. No, shit.
So what we can do to add here are just but I'll quickly mention you also have these options up here for different selections. You can also click on the face mode, and now instead of selecting verts, you can select a face, which is a collection of verts and edges. So now you can just left click on that face, and then you can go back into your right orthographic view by hitting free, and you can go E. So E is the shortcut to extrude, and that'll extrude a face. You can also come here and click on the extrude button. Some options. But
I'm doing it.
Extruded it down and then just left clicked. And then I'm going to just go R, and I'm going to slightly rotate that face.
No shit.
G, and I'm just going to move it back. So one thing you'll notice is we're still using a lot of the same G, S, and R to scale, rotate, and move things, which is really cool. So now let's go to our front view by getting 1 on a number pad. And you can see here, it's kind of right at the bottom, but over here now it is lacking the right dimension. So what we can do to add in an edge is we can notice is we're still using a lot of the same G, S, and R to scale, rotate, and move things, which is really cool. So now let's go to our front view by getting 1 on a number pad. And you can see here, it's kind of right at the bottom, but over here now it is lacking the right dimension. So what we can do to add in an edge is we can just come over here, hovering over an edge, and you can go Control R or Command R if you're using a Mac, and you're going to see this yellow line appear. Once you see the yellow line, you can just left click twice and it'll add it in. Then go back into your front.
All right, wait. Hold on. What did he say?
Command R if you're using a Mac, and you're going to see this yellow line appear. Control R or Command R if you're using a Mac, and you're going to see this yellow line appear. Once you see the yellow line, you can just left click twice and it'll add it in. Then go back into your front orthographic view by hitting 1 on the number pad, S, X with that edge selected, and you can scale it out like that.
Oh,
Let's
shit.
just say you accidentally unselected that edge. How do you select it? And you can scale 1 twice and it'll add it in. Then go back into your front orthographic.
No, shit.
Really cool stuff in free. Click twice. And now it's not hard at to keep in mind.
Okay. I'm getting it.
Line, you can just left click twice and it'll add it in. Then go back into your front orthographic view by hitting 1 on the number pad.
No.
S, X with that edge selected, and you can scale it out like that. Now let's just say you accidentally unselected that edge. How do you select it? By left clicking and dragging?
No. What?
No, not necessarily, because now that it's an edge select, you might select more edges than you wanted to. In some cases that would happen. So what you may want to do click, just come over here, hovering over an edge, and you can go Control R or Command R if you're using a Mac, and you're going to see this yellow line appear. Once you see the yellow line, you can just left click twice and it'll add it in.
Left click twice.
Then
okay.
go back into your front orthographic view by hitting 1 on the number pad, S, X with that edge selected, and you can scale it out like that. Now let's just say you accidentally unselected that edge. How do you select it? By left clicking and dragging?
No.
No, not necessarily, because now that it's an edge select, you might select more edges than you wanted to. In some cases that would happen. So what you may want to do is you can actually, when there's a loop like this, you can go Shift,
Wait,
Alt,
no, what?
and then just left click on a edge and it'll select the whole loop.
I
You
don't
can
know.
also just hold in Shift and one when there's a loop that would happen. So what you may want to do is you can actually, when there's a loop like this, you can go Shift, Alt, and then just left click on a edge and it'll select the whole loop. You can also just hold in Shift, and while you're holding in Shift and you're moving around, you can select multiple faces. So that's one thing to keep in mind.
Okay.
If you guys struggle with that, that's how you select edges. So now we have that in there. If we now go to our right orthographic view by hitting free, we can see it's not quite right. So let's go to our vertex select, left click and drag to select these verts, and let's just move them by pressing G. And you can see what we're doing here. All right, it's not hard at all. We're just creating the rough shape from the front and the side. And yes, it is boxy, but what we can do now is we can progressively add more topology. So we're them by pressing G, and you can see what we're doing here. All right, it's not hard at all. We're just creating the rough shape from the front and the side. And yes, it is boxy, but what we can do now is we can progressively add more topology. So let's come here to the middle, Control R, just like we did, hovering over one
Wait, no. Fuck. What am I doing wrong?
not hard at all. And while you're holding in Shift and you're moving around, you can select multiple. So just hold in Shift, and while you're holding in Shift and you're moving around, you can select multiple faces. So that's one thing to keep in mind if you guys struggle with that. That's how you select edges. So now we have that in there. If we now go to our right orthographic view by hitting free, we can see it's not quite right. So let's go to our vertex select, left click and drag to select these verts, and let's just move them by pressing G. And you can see what we're doing.
Oh, G. Okay.
Right? It's not hard at all. We're just creating the rough shape from the front and the side. And yes, it is boxy, but what we can do now is we can progressively add more topology. So let's come here to the middle, Control R, just like we did, hovering over one of these edges. You should see the yellow line.
Oh my god. Excuse me. Oh. Oh.
Line appear, and then left click twice, more topology. So let's come here to the middle, Control R, just like we did hovering over one of these edges, you should see the yellow line appear, and then left click twice.
Oh wait.
And now what we've done, we've cut it in half here. We have an edge. It's perfectly symmetrical, but we can cheat a little bit. We can actually mirror, so we only work on one side. So let's now left click and drag and just select these verts over here. And let's press X and then go delete. And what are we working with? Vertices. So let's click delete vertices. And now we only have half an object. We can now go to the properties panel here, and let's go to X and then go delete. And what are we working with? Vertices. So let's click delete vertices. And now we only have half an object. We can now go to the properties panel here, delete vertices. And now and then go left click and drag and just select these verts over here. And let's press X and then go delete. And what are we working with? Vertices. So let's click delete vertices. And now we only have half an object. We can now go to the properties panel here, and let's go to our modifiers. Modifiers are just these cool things we can add to an object.
Modifiers.
I won't go into too much details, but let's just go to the add modifier, and let's just go and give this one under the generator, and that's a mirror. And all it's simply doing here is mirroring this object. So now we can't actually come here and select anything on this side, but if we select something on this side and we press G to move it or rotate
that's
it, you can
that's
see
cool.
it updates on this side.
I need to figure out a way to like fucking memorize all this. I need to write all this down, and because there's no way I'm going to remember all this, at least at first. I mean, I'm sure once I've been in the shit enough, it'll be like, you know, I won't have to think about it. It's like learning a new art program. This one just requires a lot more finesse than a pencil, maybe. Mostly because I use a mouse and I'm not right-handed.
The issues is if we start moving things around, it pulls apart. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, we're going to click on this thing called clipping. And now if you move it, it all sticks together, which is really cool, and it's going to help you a lot. Now going back into the front orthographic by pressing 1 on the number pad, you can actually see that little origin point that I talked about earlier is in the middle. And that's actually what our mirror modifier is looking at as a reference point.
Ooh. So
now that we have that mirrored, what we can do is we can press 7 on our number pad to go to the top orthographic view. And this is looking boxy. So let's go Control R. And with Control R, we're going to see the yellow line appear over here. Let's double click by left clicking. And now what we can do is from the top, we can left click and drag and select the front verts over here in the corner. And we can go G and move them in a little bit. And then left click. And let's left click and drag over here, selecting these verts. And then let's go G. And let's move them in like that. Now we simply rounded that out.
Wait, no, wait,
so
hold on.
It's starting to look a lot better. And we've just used some very simple modeling techniques.
Wait a second. Where did the fucking... The mirror's gone. Did I not have... I mirrored it, right? Mirror.
Cool, and it's going to help you a lot. Now, going back into the front orthographic by pressing 1 on the number pad, you can actually see that little origin point that I talked about earlier is in the middle. And that's actually what our mirror modifier is looking at as a reference point. So now that we have that mirrored, what we can do is we can press 7 on our number pad to go to the top orthographic view. And this is looking boxy. So let's go Control R.
Wait, I mean... Okay. Alright.
With Control R, we're going to see the yellow line appear over here. Let's double...
No. Fuck!
Control R. And with Control R, we're going to see the yellow line appear over here. Let's double click by left clicking. And now what we can do is from the top, we can left click and drag and select the front verts over here in the corner. And we can go G and move them in a little bit. And then left click. And let's left click and drag over here, selecting these verts. And then let's go G And let's move them in like that. Now we simply rounded that out. So this is already starting to look a lot better, and we've just used some very simple modeling techniques. Let's also just select this vertex down here by left clicking on it, and let's just go X and delete that vertex. So we now have this open by left clicking on it, and let's just go X and delete that vertex. So we now have this open like so. And let's just also select this one at the top here. Let's go X and delete that vertex as well. Okay, so one to go back into the front orthographic view. And let's continue extruding this topology up and making the rest of the body. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we have our vertex select option enabled.
All right. Holy shit. This shit's very time consuming, but I think, you know, with enough practice, I could get it done pretty fast. That's the key point. I accept practice. Excuse me. And maybe have a bunch of have a list of shortcuts available, like just on my desk somewhere that I can glance at to just do what I need it to do. Oh, excuse me. I fucking love chocolate stout.
We're still in edit mode. We're going to left click and drag in our front orthographic view, and we're going to select these verts over here. So once they are selected in your front orthographic view, remember, one to go into front orthographic view, you're going to go E to extrude and then just move it up to about here on the reference, or just under the neck, and then you're going to go R.
Excuse me. I think it's funny that I fixed that up.
So R to rotate, and rotate it this much, and then left click, and then just G again, and just move it till it's lined up to the bottom of this V here, this delta. Then you're going to press free to go into your right orthographic view, and then you're going to go S, Y, and flatten it on the Y.
Oh my god.
Okay, back into the front orthographic view. Let's go into extrude and extrude it up like so, and leave it about here. Let's go into our right orthographic view, and we're going to go S, Y, and scale it on the Y,
I see.
that much.
I'm starting to understand this better. I just gotta. Hang on. I got another sneeze coming. I think. That's. Reset pros, track the loss. Oh. Oh, goodness. Ugh. Animate jawbone? Wait, what? Animate jawbone. Mirror image while UI is hidden. Use VROID style shade coloring. What's that do? Enable gaze and eyebrow offset settings. Oh. Use old lip sync model. What's the old lip sync model? What's Vroid style color shading? Mirror image while UI is hidden. Animate jawbone. What is all this? I want my jawbone animated. Okay. Whatever. I got what I'm looking for, I think. I hope.
And then we're going to go Control R or Command R, hovering over one of these edges. You should see the yellow line. Then you're going to just left click once. And then if you move the mouse, you can slide. So you're going to slide it to about here. And then left click again, and that should put it in place. You can go Alt S. And what is different about this?
What?
I won't really get into normals at the moment.
Oh, jeez.
Here
we go.
But you have these things on the faces called normals. They're like these directional points that the face is kind of.
Oh, jeez.
Because it's kind of hard to explain. I'm just going to.
Oh boy.
You guys don't have to do this, but it's just so you understand kind of what's going on.
Oh no.
So these things here, right? The normals. Now, if you just press S by itself, it just scales everything as like an average. But if you go Alt S, it looks at these normals and it scales out along the normals, and it does it a little bit in a different way. So going Alt S will scale that out like this, nice and evenly. So I'm just going to turn that off that I turned on because I don't have it on right now. But you guys should understand where I'm coming from. So one, to go back into the front graphic view. I'm going to come over here, Control R over one of these edges, left click once, and then move the mouse to bring it down, and then Alt S and scale it out like that. And then just like that, we have this little thing forming here quite easily. And what we can do as well, just Control R, hovering over this edge here, double click to add an edge, and over here as well, the back.
There we go.
R, and then double click. And now we have a bit more topology. I'm also just going to come in here, Control R.
Yeah, I can see what he's doing here.
Double click once to add in an edge. And that's most of the body done now. So let's just quickly
make the leg. Oh shit.
Using existing topology.
Very cool.
What we're going to do is we're going to go back into our object mode up here. And earlier I showed you guys how to add in an object. So we're going to go Shift A. We're going to go to our mesh options. We're going to add in something called a cylinder. So go ahead and add that in. Now,
all right. I think this is a good point to stop before I like go crazy and fuck this thing up. That's not what I meant to do. What happened here? There we go. Let me save this. Let me, once I go off stream, I'm gonna maybe print a list of commands that I need, because that would be really helpful for me to just glance at when I am lost. And then tomorrow we start Parasite Eve. So thank you for joining. Everyone have a good night. Where's my text? No. Let me just change this to. Oh, you know what? I know what I can do. Outline. That word's been ruined for me. Yeah, there we go. Have a good night. 10:58. Yeah.